All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Ouran High School Host Club, Episode 4. We got through the physical examination.
We did. That was dicey.
Yes.
It came close. Yeah. And Tamaki doing quite a bit to help out Haruhi here.
Yes. Well, or trying to help out.
Yeah.
You know, it's the thought that counts.
Right.
For the most part.
Yeah. And we're in a good situation for now with Haruhi, and that she is like very much able and willing to then kind of go on with this whole thing that they've got going on here.
She had her out, and now she wants to stay, not just for the fancy food, but because, you know, she actually likes hanging out with these dudes. They're not all bad.
They're not that bad.
You know,
exactly.
they definitely have their problems, but she still likes hanging out with them.
Yeah, exactly. And there is, more and more hinting in that Tamaki is
a bit smitten.
And
who knows? Haruhi might be,
starting
to appreciate his other sides as well.
Yeah, I would say that Tamaki is probably the one that's more smitten at this point than Haruhi is.
What? Tamaki being led by his emotions and such, and I can't imagine him doing that.
Yeah, but still enjoying being king here. But yes. Let's see how long that lasts. Maybe he'll be dethroned. Yes, I would love to see King Haruhi. that would be a really cool.
That would be wonderful.
Moment. Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. The end.
Wait. Is this Haruhi by any chance? No. Okay, someone else. Oh. Wait, that was Kyoya, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so. It's because he looks so similar, probably to the video game character, right? Because that was definitely Kyoya. Yeah, Kyoya. Wait. Gets in her private plane. And
that's just waiting like at the bottom of the stairs. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, please tell us why. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Don't say that ever again.
With the tears at the corners of his eyes. Okay.
Yes, clearly. He looks straight out of Rakugo. Yeah. Actually just Yakumo here, Oh. Wow. Oh. This is part of the game.
And Takashi has the big hands too. Oh. Wow. Teardrops.
Wow. Really?
Oh, okay. So they just have treats in their sleeves?
There's Haruhi's gimmick. Well done. Oh.
Now, a host club seems fairly similar to a dating sim. So, who knows? Maybe they'll be able to help her out of that obsession.
Oh no, she's that pampered.
Yeah.
It should be Kyoya.
Oh.
Well, I mean that's
You're not
that's
wrong.
actually accurate though. But stop, he's already dead.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Okay.
All right.
Transfer student.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, and he even has the scarf.
Wait a minute. Is the game then?
What? Like, did they use him as reference?
Yeah, like. They're like,
wow.
That's not him. Okay, no, it's a coincidence. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh! In the wild! Oh, that's a delusion. That's a lie.
I mean, she might have already, like, convinced her dad to orchestrate something with your parents.
Oh, wait, whoa. Okay, now she's trying to be like, I control this place now.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, well, the king has been outed. It's a coup!
Oh, God.
This is going to be horrifying.
Yep. But why should that have anything to do with it? And then she'll finally realize her love for you. Oh my God.
Yada yada.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I played this part in the game.
Uh-huh.
And your next line will be?
Right. Honey's already eating them.
Oh.
Oh, okay. That certainly snapped him out of it.
And you hear that snort? Oh.
She says that to him.
Yeah. She is observing. Well, that might already be true, though.
I don't think he can even understand what that means.
But
inferiority
the thing is, that
complex.
might actually just be accurate already.
Oh.
He's still left.
Yeah.
Oh!
But, yeah. Oh my God.
You just asked the theater kid to add another character to his roster, and he's like,
Yeah.
hell yes.
Uh-huh.
I'll fall even deeper into this. They decided to become basketball stars or something, like, you know, why not?
It helps. Oh.
Oh no!
Wait, are they actually just doing this outside the club to just...
Never! I would never give up on my brother. I'll share all your pain. Put me on the stretcher with him.
Your pain is mine.
Yes! Oh, you have each other. Yeah. Well, I, a lonesome prince.
I have no one.
What is this, like a marketing trailer?
Maybe. I don't know. Yes. Yes. Yes.
This is so good.
Oh yeah.
It's practically
great.
Shakespearean.
And they totally go into the roles. Like, maybe this is just imagination, but... This method acting makes me very uncomfortable.
Yes! It was! It was a promo material thing! Yes! Yes, boss!
Wow. I love
He's
it.
still saying yes, boss in the background.
先輩は今のままでいいと思いますよ。
そうか。お前がそう言うなら。
影とかつくとこの人余計目が痛いな。
Well played, Haruhi. Well played.
レンゲちゃん、枠で人を測ってたら
Oh.
本当に大切なものが何も見えなくなる。
It's awesome that Haruhi's the one saying
Yeah.
this.
意味がよくわかりませんわ。
Of course you don't.
ハリー、
But
どうした？
wet eyes.
Oh!
手出したのはどっちだ？待てそう、先に絡んできたのはそっちだぜ。ハリー、痛むのか？
ええ。コンタクトが。
え？コンタクト？
Ah.
ちょっと
Wow.
ずれちゃって
Ah.
Wow. I love it.
Wonderful.
I love it.
Wonderful.
目薬使わずになければもう一人前のホストだ。
カメラ今乗せまして。
Yes, boss! Ah!
理想的なラストシーンですわ。あとは京也様に感動的なナレーションを。
マイキャメラが。
Wait! What's happening?
申し訳ないが部員の暴力行為を記録に残す
Oh.
こ
Ah.
ういう迷惑のかけられ方は非常に不愉快だ。
Oh!
なんで？
And the illusion is shattered.
Yep.
京也様なら気にしなくていいよって優しく頭を撫でてくれるはずなのに慈愛に満ちた優しいあなたがどうして？
そんなの。
Yeah. He's a downright, like, cold-hearted
Cold son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
買いましたわ。例のビデオ私も。
Wait.
あの雨のシーンが最高でした。
Yes!
Ah, there we go.
カオル様の深い関係がたまらなかったわ。
Oh god.
レンズを壊したってすでに撮影した映像は
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
例の暴力シーンはカットしてある。
私気づいたんです。あの時身を挺してかばってくれた優しさ。
Oh no.
時に厳しく諭してくれた深い愛。これが
Yep.
人を見て好きになるってことなのですわね。ハルヒ君。はい。さあ、私の家で一緒にゲーム。
お前のご希望通り女の子同士の友達だぞ。
あれは女の子同士じゃないだろう。
さあ、ハルヒ君、参りましょう。
待て、春日を連れてくな。
Oh my god.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. That was great. My camera!
My camera! Yes, boss!
Yeah.
Yes, boss! Because they're
love
from Hollywood, so of course they're say
like,
everything in English, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. But,
Wow.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this show is extra, but,
Yeah.
you know,
But let's do a full-on Hollywood production! They'll
Full-on
be used
Hollywood
as marketing
production.
material
And-
for an alternate look at the host club members.
sees a picture. I'm going to marry this person. You said I could do whatever I want, father. Okay, bye. Gets in a plane.
Gets in a plane, goes over there,
Yep.
gets everything set up,
Uh-huh.
takes over the place,
Yep.
has her really petulant, childlike attitude where
yes.
she's so wrapped up in the idea of
Uh-huh.
everything being a visual novel that warps around her.
Yep.
It's hilarious in that while this episode was about stereotypes,
Mm-hmm.
she basically fell into the role of the snotty,
Right.
you know,
She was the biggest
protagonist.
hypocrite.
Yes.
Because she's telling
Yeah.
them, and I love how kind of meta it is of like, hey, no, you can't just be a shtick, right? You've got to have something else to you that to show, you know,
Right.
to show the people that'll really get them invested.
No, it's better
right?
than one stereotype, two stereotypes attached to each other. They don't
Exactly.
even make sense when attached to each other.
Yes, because contradictions, right? And it's like, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
By any
totally.
means necessary.
But then at the same time, she's like, no, okay, you know, Kyoya, clearly you're just the perfect person who will love me and care for me and not do anything that I don't like or mildly disagree with.
Right. Your responses are predetermined.
Yeah.
I almost get the vibe that she plays that game over and over and over again, and she goes to like there's probably a function within it where you can like go to specific chapters, and whenever she wants to feel a certain way, she probably replays that chapter.
Sure.
And her delusions are so strong that she's like, I'm re-experiencing all over it again.
And choosing different options based on how she's feeling. Or
it's a visual novel. There's no unique options. Remember, it's the same way every single time.
I think like yes, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
At the same time, whenever visual novels or specifically dating sims are brought up in anime, right? And they're showcased usually in a comedic sense how addicting they are.
Yep.
They can be.
Totally.
I think it's something where it's because they figure out how to do what they're doing well.
Really well.
Right?
It's simple, but it's down to a T.
Right. It's like the whole thing of when like pyramid schemes are brought up and they're done where it's like, how are these people so silly as to not see what they're getting into? And then it's like, no, hold on now. That's,
That's the whole gimmick, yeah.
Yeah, that they're done very well so that people don't realize,
Yeah, until they've spent, tons of money and stuff. Same thing with, gotcha games. There's all kinds of little loop-de-loop little things.
You get that hook in there, and then and the
play
thing,
to the emotional,
exactly. You get those characters with their witty banter and memorable shticks and lines and things like that and interactions.
I really appreciate anime, because anime is like like the ultimate kind of like trap in that regard as well.
Sure.
So you'll just get sucked into anime, but anime is so completely at the favor of the viewer in terms of the overall experience. Like most of it is free for us, like it's just
or dirt cheap,
cheap.
Yeah,
and
I mean, thank you streaming services.
Yeah, thank you streaming services, but we can get like so much of it.
Yeah,
and yet oftentimes we'll just be like, I want my Stereotype 17 show. Get me that show, and bam, here's 5 options.
Well, and the thing is that like I mean, you could have that like you could apply that to a lot of things, like a lot of things, and yet if it's done with sincerity, right?
Yep. Yeah, and we can definitely feel that passion in a lot of things, like this show, for instance,
exactly.
Which is very much taking a lot of very specific stereotypes, and drawing a lot of fun
Hamming
at them, and poking fun at it, and having a good old ham of a time.
Oh, yeah.
So Kyoya gets the focus a little bit in the sense that she's obsessed with him because he looks like not Mamoru Miyano, Mamoru Miyabi, as I'm dubbing him. If he ever shows up again in this like video game like thing because Renge shows up in the story or whatever, I'm just gonna keep calling him that. You guys can deal with it.
There you go. Yeah.
But okay. His little bit of focus here, we were talking about this in between the reaction and the discussion, but I almost feel like they were setting up some things with his family.
Yeah, because
just a little bit.
Right, because at the very least, it's something where, hey, we've got a show with a cast of characters, right? And opening up with them in the host club and them doing all their antics and stuff is great fun.
So we can get their shticks.
We can get their shticks, but at the same time, we want to see them grow, right? And so over the course of this,
their deeper side.
Right, exactly.
Their dark side.
And the fact that we have a character who comes in and literally says, no, we need to make sure that people know you have depth and contradictions in episode 4. That's hilarious, right?
It's funny.
It's super funny, but then we get a focus on one member of the host club in particular that has more relevance in this episode than in other ones, let's say. Even though the other ones still definitely had their parts to play. Yeah,
because they all basically got their opportunity to explore this alternate side of them. And I liked that Haruhi disagreed with me about how Tamaki's is the one that she got the most wrong, because in my mind, the flip side of a coin of someone with a superiority complex versus an inferiority complex, I can't speak right now, it's not hard to flip that coin in my mind.
Sure,
now,
because
like
one is done often to compensate for the other.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the super fit dudes that 5 years before were like string beans or whatever, and they're like, oh damn it, you know,
just had nothing of confidence in that area, and now put so much effort into it so that they can overcompensate for it. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that Tamaki, as we've seen him thus far, has serious ego issues on both sides of it, in that he is constantly waxing about his narcissistic tendencies and stuff like that. And in the way that she did kind of peg him accurately right at the beginning, but then saying, wait, no, you actually are the lonesome prince that's the school idol with an inferiority complex, which I was like, wait a minute. You know, that's not necessarily...
Like, that could actually be fairly accurate.
True,
yeah.
Depending on how much of this is being put out there intentionally by him in order to sell that he is this dramatic king, the pinnacle of masculinity and all that.
And I get the feeling for Tamaki, it's something where he...
because he's so dejected whenever anything goes against his.
He's method, and there's a part of him that I know enjoys that, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
And with the drama people, like the super drama nerds, because I kind of see this as being drama, right? Because it's all a show, it's all a play that they put on, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that I usually hear is that it's ways that they can basically explore different sides of themselves, right? So that way they can have a better understanding of themselves, because by trying out a bunch of different things and getting into the headspace of that, they know better who they are and who they're not, right?
Yep.
And it's just fun, right? So in this situation here, when she gives him the new role and he totally he's like, yes, I am... All right, Lonesome Prince.
Is this a good pose?
Yeah, right. He gets so into his headspace. He's like, I will find my light. You know, like that. Yeah, totally, right?
Yeah, and he can be that narcissist that's, you know, completely obsessed and also kind of broken a bit. But he could also have that inferiority complex regarding his lonesome aspect. Because one, we know he's at least lonesome in that he's wishing to spend more time with Haruhi and he's not. Two, we have seen him many times now, especially in this episode, when even the slightest thing derails his opportunities with Haruhi, or even just attacks his ego in some way.
Sure.
Boom, into the dumps. And it's played for laughs because this guy is a...
Yeah, it's to an extreme, right?
Yes, he's ridiculous.
Right, but if that were to be just, say, done in a more subtle way, right, you could actually see that being super, super endearing. Like, not in like a that's funny but also endearing kind of way, but just like legitimately like, oh, he sees someone that's like, you know, like sort of being flirty with Haruhi, and then he's like, oh, okay, all right, well, you know.
Yeah, if not for the fact that he's an insufferable egotistical maniac... Yeah, that would be actually pretty endearing, because we are realizing, oh, he might be a little bit of the underdog here? What?
Right.
And that's because of his own flaws. Let's keep it real here.
Yes.
But maybe there's something there. Maybe her stereotypes were thrown at random, but this one, because she latched onto the narcissist angle so quickly... She might have subconsciously tapped into something there. Right. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, and Haruhi pointed out, like, hey, I think you're just fine the way that you are. Now, there was also the diplomatic angle
the manipulative side of that.
Hey, he doesn't need to get the lonely prince complex, because that'll just make him even worse,
even more annoying.
Oh God. But like legitimately, like I think we rag on
Tamaki.
Well, but we rag on Haruhi's perspective of Tamaki a bit too much, right? Because really, no,
it's accurate.
He doesn't truly need, like, there's growth that if it happened, that would be great, but
it's gonna be slow.
It's gonna be slow. But even in episode 1, she was like, you were pretty cool. Narcissism and everything. Now, right?
Yeah. That was the anomaly as of yet.
Yes, it was the anomaly. It was definitely the anomaly, right? Because he is still insufferable in his default state, right?
Yeah, but he has moments that shine out.
Exactly, right?
Right.
In the situation, like, for instance, when, his jealousy gets him out of his funk, right? Because let me try that cookie, you know, right?
God.
That was so over the top. I love it.
That's so funny. I love how she was just so... nonplussed by the whole thing.
Well, because she totally knew what they were getting at, right?
It's their gag.
Right, it's their gag, and it's all a performance for, Mr. Drama Queen over there.
Yeah. Thus, there's nothing weird about it for her. And yet, when And yet when Tamaki shows up, she's like,
That's
you touched my shoulders? That's
sexual harassment. Come on. Yeah. She's totally figuring out her own place and rhythm within the dynamic of everything.
It's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I love Haruhi so much.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
able to deftly maneuver through all of this.
Yep.
And kind of likes it. You can tell.
Yeah.
So everyone got their little contradiction, their little kind of focus with that.
Well, so there was something else that I wanted to bring up sort of in tangent to that.
Okay.
So we have that as one example, right, of his ego, driving everything, specifically with regards to Haruhi, right? But then we get the situation where she actually gets hurt. Now, there's the, okay, I'm going to kill you, and it's the, well, hey, hold on, she started it, and then the contact lens, right? And he thinks she's crying, and he's like, well, I mean, she is, right?
He cry.
But he's legitimately concerned, right? And what he did there, it didn't feel to me like it was part of an act to try and, woo Haruhi or anything. It was just real vulnerability, right? It was genuine, right? And that's something that is that's the balance,
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
he dealt with it in his very dramatic way, and
exactly.
thus none of it probably translated to her. Necessarily.
Who knows?
But Kyoya and everyone getting basically their focus here, and us maybe getting a little bit of inferred stuff regarding his family, and that, oh, yes, his family is into business and stuff like that.
Makes sense. They're all, all the people here are quite wealthy, and he's the business one, so...
Right. He shows that acumen with regard to his role in the host club, but when we saw that picture, he was wearing his host club uniform, probably just because,
Yeah,
we don't want to show him in a different outfit. Except
right,
they have
he's
no
in
problems
school,
showing them in different outfits.
I think it's just showing it like, okay, or
he stands out a little bit so that we can frame him in the shot as being like, there's Kyoya.
Right, because I'm totally with you that it seems like they're potentially separating him from his family, in how the thing is set up of him being in a different suit and behind them and all that stuff. But I could see it being something where it's the school uniform because he's in school and maybe his brothers aren't in school anymore and that's why they're directly helping with the family business. I'm assuming based on the photo. And then that's basically it. Yeah, he's in high school.
Yeah, and then the main reason why I would say that's not the case is just that there's a very real possibility that that actual event happened far away from the school, so it makes no sense for him to have rushed on over, in his school uniform.
Sure.
So maybe I'm applying a bit too much potential,
right? Like it could be totally innocuous, but at the same time, there's that general thing of because one of the things that we were talking about in between the episode and the discussion is, given the way that this show is setting things up, right, where you've got your sort of your adventure of the week, right, the way that the host club will help out in a particular situation,
right,
and you show new sides of these, right, our stereotypes, and you show the different sides of these characters through how they perform in that episode. With the side characters, if we're going to have each of them have an arc per se, right, it would make sense that when they get focus in the episode, that it could be something where innocuous little details are sort of slipped in that
prep us for that.
Prep us for their eventual arc and what it revolves around.
It would behoove the show in order to do that, because in a lot of ways right now we have a lot of characters. Honey and Takashi are kind of the most bare bones at this point. Takashi is literally meant to be the strong and silent type, probably just to save on time, so that we can't have too much focus.
I think they handle it pretty well.
Oh yeah, totally. But we know nothing about him, literally, other than that. Yeah. So that's the result of as to what now, regardless of intent. That's just what it is. Yeah. So with Kyoya, he getting anything. In addition to he's the mom of the group,
Right. He's the mom of the group, and
cold business acumen.
Yes, cold business acumen, which I love. Yes,
because then all the other characters, when she was like, "You're like this, you're so," and they're like, "Who is that? Who?"
Well, but also, if you think about what she was doing, she was basically saying, "Hey, each of you need a basic contradiction." Right.
True.
Now, granted, some of them already kind of have that, with the two twins we're the twins and we're brothers, but also we're deeply in love with each other. But with Kyoya, he's the mom of the group, and he's the cold, calculating, business, type dude, right? That in and of itself seems like a little bit of a contradiction, right? Because the way they call him the mom of the group is like, you're the one who is
he's breaking stereotypes.
Yeah, breaking stereotypes, right? Exactly.
Not your typical mom.
Yep. This is the mom that will cut a bitch, right? The mom that'll punch a camera.
Well, no, that's not marketable.
Hit a rock.
That's bad for the reputation.
Well, exactly.
This is the one who will disassemble you and do it verbally with no violence in such a way that's just like, you're a pain. Like the way Kyoya basically was just like, and I'm going to decompartmentalize you, Renge, at the end of the episode.
You have fulfilled your usefulness to this club.
Thank you for bringing the Hollywood crew here. I will monetize this beautifully.
Yep.
And your services are no longer required.
Right.
He had the whole thing on lock. He was talking about how they needed better products
and
to sell.
Instantly picked up on the opportunity.
He's like, I can use this.
Exactly.
Like, I love that in her whole search for the darker side of all the other characters, and yet having Kyoya be the star, the heart of gold and pure,
yes,
white as snow. It's actually the scariest one of them all.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't need to explore his darker side. He's like, my
darker side serves me very dutifully.
Right, I dance with the devil every night.
Yes, and I'm very familiar with the waltz. It's
right.
We've got it figured out. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
And all the other characters kind of get it, which means in some ways that this episode might be the primer for their character depth.
Sure.
Of like just the general cast. It's we did the first 3 episodes that kind of showed the formula.
Yep.
This episode is we get the mysterious transfer student.
Right.
Who's not going to transfer. Well, wait.
I'm not sure.
That might
they
still
could
actually be,
have her be a recurring character.
Right.
And that's, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not, right?
Okay.
Because now Haruhi has a, first female friend in what has until now been a big sausage fest. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But oh my god.
My god.
Because one of the things I've been kind of wondering about, now she didn't exactly come to the host club as a client, as a customer, right? She inserted herself into being manager very quickly.
Right.
But
I'll attach myself to this very attractive man.
Exactly. But one of the things that I was kind of curious about with this show, once it started getting going, is okay, we're focusing on some of the customers for the individual episodes, but host clubs usually have recurring clientele. So,
if we keep adding them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, this is gonna get really big really quickly.
either in a potentially like draw away from the other characters way, or potentially in just a fantastic way where there's all this continuity of and then we get to know the regulars, right?
That's very true. Yeah,
and what they particularly prefer and don't like and whatnot, and then also potentially what they pull out of our host club members, because if their method with their performances, and they have it down to a T, so maybe not totally method for a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
Old habits and whatnot, but that could potentially be a way to bring out particular growth or focus or whatever from these characters. Who knows? Because I think that the characters all here did learn a bit of a lesson. They were more popular after that movie that showed these different sides of them, right? So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they will start going on to little bits of self-exploration and whatnot of being like, who am I really?
Yeah. And while I would say, because they're probably doing the equivalent of playing in the kiddie pond with regards to being a part of a host club where there's no real competition, they're in a school where there's conveniently tons of rich women just sitting there with tons of free time, as the intro thing suggested.
They actually didn't say that this episode.
I know they didn't.
I was actually
really surprised. Yeah.
They still did the thing of, showcasing, and maybe that was just because it was for the first 3 episodes. It's like,
Possibly.
okay, first 3 episodes, we're going to establish the status quo.
Yeah.
And then you got it. You know how it goes. Like, I almost wouldn't be surprised if they were like, at this academy where, blah, blah, blah.
Alchemy, transcendental entities or laws,
right. But like they end up just sort of like fast forwarding through it. You know the drill.
That would be good.
Like Tamaki ended up like just staring at the camera at one point this episode.
Right.
Like
no.
Yeah. Like
I do love Tamaki's Mamoru Miyano's performance as Tamaki is really
wonderful.
enjoyable.
Excellent.
I do think though that this episode might be potentially smartest, like, little maybe subtle dig
Oh, yeah?
writing episode, though, because of it being about stereotypes, and that the characters themselves play into their stereotype in order to make money.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they also like it, though.
Sure.
And this is the part that's different, though. Haruhi comes in, and she doesn't like playing to stereotypes. In fact, she's the whole reason why the story is probably going to be like why it needs to be told. Is
Right,
that
she is the
Haruhi
hammer
comes in
that
and
breaks
goes,
up the status
like,
quo. Yeah.
why stereotypes?
Right.
And then they're all like, oh, but look
on.
at how good we perform these stereotypes.
It's
And
very
she's
polished,
like,
you know?
yada yada, and they're like, how can she just walk in and yada yada this? Like, and so it's perfect in that she is, like you said, the hammer coming in and just bending all the nails and stuff. But then Kyoya basically is like, oh, but I will adapt, overcome, monetize, you know, like, and just basically takes the new stereotypes and just
Incorporates them. Yep.
I sell it, repackage it.
Yeah.
And you all,
Clip it, ship it.
you suckers just gobble it up like it's nothing. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is this potentially a commentary on how stereotypes are literally there just to be monetized?
I mean,
like,
maybe, because, okay, let's peel
because
it
it
back.
keeps things consistent and
Yeah.
simple.
Oh, yeah. Comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Let's peel it back a layer further. Okay. Now, Mamoru Miyano. He's a great voice actor. Great voice
Okay,
actor, right?
yeah.
Excellent range, even, right?
Right.
But, like, when we think of Mamoru Miyano and his performances, they're the Tamaki kinds of performances, right? They're the Kotaro performances,
Over
right?
the top.
Over the top, right?
Right. I gotcha.
A stereotype, even that,
Oh.
and that is something, something that is gold in any kind of thing where you're selling a service,
I
right?
mean, he is the main member of the host club.
No,
so it makes
yeah.
sense that you would have him be the...
Totally, right?
Yeah.
But as far as like trying to like marketing of yourself, right? If it's something where you're known for a specific thing, yes, you know, creative like balance and doing all sorts of different things and whatnot. That's
What are you
great for.
saying?
I'm saying that if the show is basically one commentary on stereotypes,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
With acting, right? Being typecast, right? That's another example of that, right? All the characters in the host club are actors here.
Sure.
Now, yes, I don't think that is necessarily something where it's any kind of intent behind the show of, all right, we'll get a typecast actor for this or anything like that,
I got
right?
you. I feel like you said you were gonna go back, but you just went in. Like you went and you're like, look at this little thing here. I'm like, yeah, Mamoru Miyano gets typecasted probably almost all the time.
Right.
But even still, like, that doesn't necessarily, I don't know, I just feel like that was so, like, you're like, microscope, here we go, look at this.
No, just because from the standpoint of like, okay, with the characters that the characters play in the show, to then the characters themselves in the show, to the people that play the characters in the show. That's how I was taking it one step back. Not actually with like going to some macroscopic like general thing, other than I guess that typecasting exists and whatnot. But yeah,
Right.
So any of you with trying to be, you know, little Kyoya business acumen people and whatnot, hey, there you go. You know, typecasting is helpful. Like or it makes money.
Yeah.
Like-
like maybe you don't need 20 voices. You just need one or two that you're really willing to commit to.
Right.
And when we mean voices, we don't mean like accents. I mean like characters.
Well, yeah, and that's right, and that's for acting specifically. But
Yes,
even
yes.
with regards to like say business and stuff, being consistent, right? If the girls go to the host club, right, and all of a sudden it's
yeah.
not the host club, they
get what
do
you're
something
saying.
else, right? They
might leave.
They might leave. They might not
Yeah.
come back, right? In the same way
is-
that you don't want
okay.
your business hours to
Yeah.
be something where they don't know if you're going to be open or not, right?
True.
Like you do that's not show up.
This is talking about more consistency than stereotypes.
Maybe,
though.
but stereotypes are a version of consistency, I feel like, where
Right.
there's a comfort that people have when they know that, there's not going to be anything different, right? You know, everything goes according to plan.
Right.
you know?
I got that. I think the thing with stereotypes, though, is it's about homogenization rather than something being like a metronome.
Okay.
Because a metronome being consistent.
I'm not sure what the difference between
the difference is that you can draw a lot of stuff out of the timing of something like that. It's like music, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you can get so much out of just a 4 count,
right.
basically.
Foundation to build on, yeah.
Right, but a stereotype, there are things that Kyoya can't say because he's the visual novel protagonist.
Right. Yes.
But if he's just keeping time, what he's saying, what notes these are, what chords these are, what music he's playing can be infinite numbers, basically. It's just going to feel kind of the same.
Right. So maybe that's the balancing act of it, is that it's bringing up, yes, totally marketable, and at the same time, you don't want it to become stultified and all samey. Like her whole comment of, hey, you might not be around in, a little bit. Now, granted, they're in high school, so
but no,
they won't be around in a couple years, right? But the idea that the host club could end up just losing popularity because, we've been to the host club. We know what we'll get when we go there.
Especially if they're apparently like nickel and diming the budget, because this is something that we could get really big brain and predict here.
We are so off in the weeds.
Yeah, we're so off in the weeds. But I think there's a possibility that the host club is not actually giving them like any money. It's all a big game to the people at the school who are like, sure, do your dumb little thing.
Right.
But, like, we're not going to give you money to have girls just sit there and pay you. Like, think about it. The school needs to benefit from them focusing their time in this rather than something else. So the school might be way more, like, draconic, and they're like, oh, did I say draconic?
Yes.
I meant to say, what's the word?
Draconian.
Draconic, yeah.
Draconian.
Draconian, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't speak today.
D&D languages,
Yes.
Yeah.
But just that they're like, this is a waste of time, a waste of resources.
Sure.
You guys do your play games or whatever, but we're not going to support it more than the bare minimum, even though they somehow find the way to do all these elaborate sets, costumes, all that stuff.
That's one of the things that
means that Kyoya might be actually like keeping it afloat, like
right.
barely.
That is something I do want to bring up real quick. Whenever they bring up no, I know we are getting we're way too deep, man. But whenever they bring up the idea of club budget, I'm not sure how to take it because we see them doing things that, of course, must be costing them
here's these
inordinate amounts of money.
Throw at Haruhi.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm guessing it is they're just filthy rich, so they just spend their own money.
That could be it. That could be it.
Oh, my allowance.
But at the same time,
5 million yen this month.
Right, but at the same time, with a school as prestigious and well off as Ouran Academy, right? I would not be surprised in the slightest. Because clubs have a budget, right?
Right.
And if they have, things where there's
5 members and it's active.
Exactly, right? Classic anime stuff. Yeah. But if they have things where they have personal nurses and physicians for each student when they do like a physical examination day,
that's
right?
just the school in general.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're not talking about the club.
No,
gotcha.
that's the school in general, right? It would stand to reason that they would also give, at the very least, more than a traditional high school's club budget would be to the host club.
I agree.
But then
I think the host club might be the worst club, though, according to the school, maybe.
Oh, right, because they must spend it like it's nothing. They literally are. It would be better for the school if they just burned the money, right? Like, because then it would take longer to actually use it up, right?
Right. Yeah.
But they keep bringing up but budget. So they're basically spending the budget of the club, which must be inordinate in order to actually be able to do all this stuff, so quickly with such reckless abandon, right? that they have to nickel and dime things in order to make it so that they don't go completely under because it's a school club and they can't profit through like the regular means, right?
But also there's a possibility, and this is something where maybe there's a rule about where they can actually allowed to earn money. And that's why they need to sell the stuff there.
Yeah, sell things like the picture books and whatnot, yeah.
But I almost wonder if the club in and of itself has to have has to send something back to the school. Maybe they're so wealthy they don't even care.
I feel like the school is wealthy enough that it's like, what, being financially profitable? That's not what this is about. Like the parents that just spend the money to have their kids be here, that's profit enough. Yeah. Like, we've got our whales, thank you.
Yeah. We can see that these girls go back to their parents and give glowing reviews about how much they're loving school.
Yep.
And if any part of that is due to this club, then it is worth existing.
Exactly.
How much money is put there? Who cares? Who cares?
$100,000 a month? That's nothing. Yeah.
It's kind of disgusting.
Oh, yeah. And then we have Haruhi just in the middle of all this.
Just like looking at all this waste and just... Yeah. Ugh.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I love Haruhi. Haruhi is the perfect
main character,
basically, to pierce the strange workings of this machine and maybe decompartmentalize it and end up, instigating some kind of restructure based on the deconstruction of stereotypes.
School social change. Yes.
Hey, we'll see. It's already potentially starting to happen with Tamaki. He just doesn't realize it yet.
Oh, Tamaki he's... God, I love that he is like the other half of the romance. Probably the main romance, even though the twins definitely do their little thing.
I'm always like begrudgingly like...
No, because he is going to lean into it. He already is leaning into it so hard, right? Sometimes too hard, right?
Right.
But... I'm excited to see him go on an emotional ride when he, that is an emotional ride already compared to what he normally does, which is live in an emotional ride. So, yeah.
All right. But y'all, this was a meandering, funky, crazy discussion. Thank you so much if you actually watched the end of it there. We kind of just decided, let's just go. Let's go in on a random Ouran episode here. And this one, though, might have been worth it, though.
This was a really fun episode.
It was a really fun episode, but it also might have been worth the analytical discussion. Analytical.
Yes. Yeah, watch. What did we actually talk about from the episode?
We talked about
we brought up the plane and some of the characterization.
Come on.
Yeah.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, the info for that is in the description down below.
Yes, if anything that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.